Okay, so I think we are good. So, Bismillah, we're going to start off with Duaa, inshallah. Feel free to follow along, and then we'll get right into it. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ya Allah, thank you for joining us as sisters in your dunya. Please reunite us as sisters in your akhirah. Ya Allah, increase us in taqwa. Ya Allah, allow this to be a means to gain closeness to you. Ya Allah, forgive us for our shortcomings and our mistakes. Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And so go ahead, I have Heather and Heba here, and also anyone who might have clicked on our link. And take a moment, inshallah, make your own personal dua, set your intention, and then we will officially begin, inshallah. And you two lovely ladies, once you're done with your dua, take your time, let me know, and we will begin. Okay, so to anyone watching either, our recording, because this will be sent out, or live, welcome. And, I'm very excited to have you all here. I'm also excited right now. I have Heba, El-Hakim, and Heather, Anen. That's how you say your last name, right, Heather?
Anen, yeah.
Anen, alhamdulillah. And, Heba from Australia and Heather from New Jersey. And we're going to go ahead and interview each of them. We're going to start with Heba, inshallah. So Heba, if you don't mind starting us off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know there's a lot of exciting stuff to you.
First of all, thank you. Thank you, Yasmin, for inviting me to this panel and this live broadcast. It's really exciting. I really enjoyed the Glow from the Inside Out program. It was nice to follow through, and yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Heba, and I'm a Canadian, born and raised in Canada, and I moved 4 years ago to Australia. So I lived in Montreal for most of my life, and then got married and moved here, and that's why I'm here in Melbourne, Australia, in the other part of the world. And I have a little daughter. She's her name is Zaina, and she's almost 4 in June. And she's basically my life. Like, everything revolves around her. And of course, my husband has him, but it's just everything is really infused into Zaina at the moment. And it's been really a nice journey, ups and downs. But I've learned to get comfy with motherhood, and from that, I kind of concluded that I really need to sort of really work hard at myself a little bit more, so that I, impart the right things and ideas in my daughter. Not that I have the wrong ideas or anything, it's just there's been some things that I had to really process after receiving, the gift of motherhood. And I just, everyone has to work on themselves, but just having a child just makes it a little bit more real fast, So I've had to do a lot of work on myself and a lot of work on, and I still am, and it's mainly from the emotional standpoint, reducing stress, managing stress. So if there was something that we'll get into that question. I'm sure you'll ask me about what I derived out of the Glow, but a little bit mainly about myself is that I studied, I studied science, and then I studied business. So I kind of, was really working hard during my time in Montreal before marriage. I was kind of like, you would say, in the rat race, just working hard all the time. And then my husband, after marrying him, kind of like brought me down to earth, and he said, you can live your life like in a relaxed way right now. So that's where I'm coming from, the whole learning how to just take my time in life and, enjoying the process and working on myself. So that's a little bit about me. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's just where I am right now, and that's what I wanted to share.
Well, thank you so much, Jazakallah khair, Heba, and I'm sure so many women, could relate. And, I know we have a lot of mothers that were part of GLOW, and, with the surveys, if you guys remember the surveys that I would send out before each one, a good amount of people would fill out the surveys, but I do have some of the stuff, the behind-the-scenes stuff from the survey. So in the slides, whether you see them now or in the recording, you'll be able to see kind of like the breakdown, like what percentage of the women that filled it out are mothers or wives or sisters or, things like that. I was going to say daughters, but we're all daughters.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that. And you're right, children, they imitate you a lot, so it does make things very real, I am sure. And if, before, we're going to go right into your second question very shortly. I am seeing here that people are starting to connect. I'm going to simply put the live link in our Facebook group, so if anyone needs it there. So give me 1 second. That'll literally take me a second. To help people connect, inshallah. And I'm sure I could tell too, because I was watching her expressions too. Heather also, I could tell, was smiling and relating to a lot of the stuff you said. I could be mistaken. She could speak for herself, but I think she was able to relate to some of the stuff, and I'm sure some others were as well. Okay. So
I'm sorry, did you say you're a comedian? Are you a comedian?
Am I what, sorry?
Are you like a professional comedian?
I think she's a
Canadian. I'm no comedian.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
My husband is. But he's just funny, but no, I'm not a comedian. I'm actually quite serious.
Well, I guess we added some comedy to the graduation.
I'm sorry, I misheard.
No, it's okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure she said Canadian, but it's okay.
All good.
And just a quick update to anyone who's listening live, and also you ladies, I did get an email from Reem. She had to leave the house, so she can't attend live, but she will be on the recording. So we won't, I know I had announced who's going to be interviewed, but, alhamdulillah, all is well. So let me, I'm simply sharing our link here, and then we're going to get right into the rest of these questions, inshallah. Just because I realized I did send out the link twice through email, but I know some people like Facebook. So let's see here for anyone wanting.
And we'll be able to access the recording, right, Yasmin, after?
Yes, inshallah. It'll be the same, the YouTube link, which you guys got a back-end link, but you'll see in your email the YouTube link I sent. It'll automatically turn into the
I'll
recording.
Look forward to that.
So let's go right into the next thing. Again, thank you so much for sharing all that you did, Heba. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you derived from this specific program? And it's not just what, the actual content, but even just the community, if you don't mind sharing.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a good point. So mainly what I derived from GLOW is the first thing I derived from it was that, setting your intention right from the beginning, and the way you did that was so beautiful about, just putting those 5 mantras right from the beginning, and I have them written down in front of me: consistency, sustainability, balance, simplicity, bioindividuality, that it's all about you and what worked for you. For me, that kind of set the whole thing off for me, and I was able to really sort of absorb each video as it came, and remember those, how to apply them with, just with consistency and wherever I'm at. Like, I didn't feel pressured or into doing something, and I really loved the way you laid that out, and I derived a lot. That made me derive from each class as much as I can. And I'm a note taker, so I would take notes, and then, of course, the community. Like, that was really nice. It was nice to read others' you know, all the, you know, creative things the sisters were doing, and it just gave me a sense of community, and I'm part of something, and and I like the intimacy of the group as well, because when you do these kinds of programs, I did another program which was a little bit more of a chore, because the community was really big and I felt lost. But in this one, it was nice and small, and we shared, and everything was kind of like following through on what we saw the week before or whatnot. And the fact that you are right where you need to be, for me, I'm kind of like taking that sentence and I'm like running with it, because every time I tell myself, oh, I have to get this done, I'm right where I need to be. So that's what I really truly derived from Glow. And of course, all those great tips you were giving about what to actually do. But for me, when you want to create change in your life, you really need to take it at a pace that you're able to digest. And the way you did that, I was really pleased with all of that. And so I can go back and review those videos again and sort of take the pieces I need at the moment I need. So I think that's what I really derived from it the most, the pace, the nice balanced pace it had, and the right intention right from the beginning, and then of course the community. I derived a lot of benefit from that.
Alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for for sharing that with us, Heba. And alhamdulillah, the thing is, and I know I got a good amount of responses from this, but I recently sent out an email, and I know because I was talking, I got an email back. Heather was one of the people I got an email back, but I was sent an email out about overwhelm, and I got many emails, both from some women that were in Glow, and also some women who are just on my mailing list but weren't part of Glow. But yeah, a lot of times as women especially, we feel like we have to be doing, all these different things at once. In reality, we do have to be doing all of these different things at once. But, really slowing down helps us move forward a lot of the time. So I do like that you really emphasized on the pace. Alhamdulillah. And, the community, and, the community is here to stay, by the way. I'll be talking at the end. The Facebook group, I'm going to keep active, and then in terms of people who want extra content, I posted something about that, but I'll speak at the end of the graduation class about that too. But I really appreciate you focusing on that. And I think we just lost Heather.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. If you need to do, I just wanted, because I know we had almost lost Heba before, but nope, you're fine. Just wanted to make sure you're here. But yeah, I appreciate that, because sometimes, and when I was reviewing the feedback, because I take the feedback seriously in order to always be better, I got people who were happy with the slow pace. I got some people who said could have been a little faster, could have had more content, and then there were still some people who maybe thought it was too fast. So I know it must have been somewhere in the middle. But it's very important, I think, to really balance that out, because sometimes we look to do so much that we can only do so much at once. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
And any thoughts you want to share on that before I ask you our last question, inshallah?
No, but I mean, yeah, like any program, it will be, some people want it quicker, some people want it faster. I think, different people are at different stages. I think I had a lot going on at the time, so I was kind of appreciating the pace, but not just the pace, but yeah, like talking about those surveys, I actually, it helped me just sit down and actually put those, like, put my thoughts into words. And because I'm going through different things, like I'm also trying to, express myself better. So just having these different mediums of channels of where I can, do that's what I actually derived from Glow, the ability to, or the chance to be able to express myself, even if I don't know you that well, but I just felt like I did. So it was, just in that medium, in that space of comfort, like it was comfortable to do it, and I think that's because of how you set up Glow, and it was really well set up for that.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of all planners. So last thing is, do you have any, could you share a word of encouragement for anyone who's, taken Glow, and that extends to, there are people like I was mentioning before, and I'll talk a little bit about this after we conclude the interviews, but, whether someone completed all the content or is still going through it, or, has completed but has yet to implement, or is somewhere in the middle, what would you, what would you share?
Yeah, sure. Well, going on what you taught me about continuum, because I learned it from you. So I have my notebook here, and it has like my notes from each class. But so I would just encourage girls who would get onto this kind of thing or this kind of program to at least watch the videos. Even if you don't, just watch the videos, put them on your smartphone. Everyone's on smartphones these days, so just watch it on your smartphone and then, digest it later. But you don't have to sit there and take the notes. But so that's what I would do sometimes. I would just watch it, and then I would kind of, maybe when I have time, I'll go back into it. But I also did the reverse. I would sit down and watch it, just take the notes, and then later on review it later on at my own pace, sitting on the couch while my daughter's doing something. So I would just kind of just reviewing it in my mind, but just getting it at least down on paper is nice, and those worksheets as well. And also then the whole implementation phase. So the first week I was really just focused on, you had released maybe 2-3 videos, but I was just focusing on getting my water intake in, because I'm not good with water. So I was watching the videos, but I wasn't really implementing anything. I didn't even do any recipes yet. I'm not into the whole, I didn't even reach that. So I think this is where the continuum thing happens. You're going to do something, but then you need more time to really, focus on what you need to work on. So if water is what you need to work on, then get down that path before you jump into something else. I'm not even doing the circuit trainings yet. I need to start moving more. But what I was doing is I just do some little lifts with my daughter and stuff in the morning, and then I'll focus on trying to find the time to actually put in the 15-20 minutes and doing that. So it's a continuing. I think we have these videos, so you can go back to them and then just apply those mini things in your daily life. I think that's my main word of encouragement, is don't be discouraged by the amount of content that you get. If it's new content, just apply what you need at the time you need it. So I think that's how I kind of made it less overwhelming for myself. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Heba. Are there any closing thoughts you have, or is that?
No, I'm all good. I was really happy to be part of the community, and I can't wait to watch the full recording of this session. And I think I have one more Q&A to watch, which I think you covered a big question of mine. So I'm anxious to hear that. And and I approached it from the emotional side of things. I would be interested to communicate with others on how people deal with their emotions and all of that. I've been using certain things to help, just tools essential oils and meditation and prayer. But I think our health really depends on how our emotions are, if that makes any sense. That's what I realized after. Yeah, I can try and lose weight as much as I want to or whatever, but if my emotions aren't in the right place, or if I am blocked somewhere, then I might not be able to lose weight, or I might not be able to try to eat better. So I think sometimes it all comes down to that, and emotional health is important. So I'm actually I'm taking a class first, but I'm working on developing my online presence, and it will have a lot to do with emotions and mastering your emotions, creating a balanced life. So I can't wait to just see how it all, and I'm taking what I've learned from Glow and other, things, and just sort of trying to, go from my experience basically and seeing how that works. Yeah. But yeah, it was really beneficial.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for sharing all of that and for being here. And totally agree 100% about the emotions as well. Alhamdulillah. So thank you again,
You're
Heba,
welcome.
and inshallah we're
Jazakallah
gonna
khair.
وإياكم. And you know, I don't know if you're signing off right this moment or within a few minutes. I know you have to get your daughter, but when you do, Assalamu
Yeah.
alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. I will probably sign off, but I'm really looking forward to hear Heather, which I will on the recording. And yeah, jazakallah khair so much for everything. And I'm happy the community is still staying, so it's great.
Yes, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
All
okay, jazakallah khair. So, Assalamu alaikum once again, Heather, and I'm very excited. Very excited to have you here too. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, inshallah? I know, you know, there's some nice stuff to be told, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. So I wanted to as well thank you for taking the time to put all of this together. I really enjoyed Glow, and thank you for taking the time to interview me. So I am 31, 31, mother of two. I converted to Islam probably 7 or 8 years ago, alhamdulillah. And so like Heba, you know, motherhood has changed my life completely. Previous to getting married, and actually soon after, even right after I got married, I was, you know, always very, very busy, running around from work, very involved at the masjid with our youth group, and you know, family obligations and things like that. And once I had my first child, my life completely changed. And I mean, a lot of people tell you that, you know, motherhood will change you, or you're not going to be able to do all the things that you are able to do before, and you don't really believe it until it happens. You know, I love my children, but you know, I think one of the things that was most surprising was the lack of time that I have to complete tasks, because your whole life is really revolves around making sure these little beings continue. You know, you have to feed them and and take care of them, and you don't realize that it's not always as easy as, you know, our mothers made it seem. So, you know, my journey to Glow, I've always been very interested in health and nutrition and things like that, and I've had my own personal journey to remove toxins from my life and eat better and things like that. But with I went from working full time and being very involved to staying home with my kids, and to be honest, being at home has actually been probably more difficult for me in terms of taking care of myself, because when I'm here, you know, working with my kids, I kind of like forget about my own health. You know, both of my children are still nursing, so my youngest is just turned 1, and I never, you know, I mean, we say that in the Quran it says that we should nurse till 2, right? Mm-hmm. But my daughter is just, alhamdulillah, I mean, she's not nursing as much as she was when she was a child, but still she's, you know, she still hasn't weaned. So, and we enjoy that relationship, but that has taken a toll on my body, and I've had some, I mean, nothing has been pinpointed. I visited a doctor, and I've had some health issues in terms of just being very tired and my immune system being low and getting sick frequently, and Glow has really helped me kind of refocus on making sure that I take care of myself, and making sure that you know, I have to put my health and well-being first before that I can actually take care of other people. And sometimes I think as mothers we forget that. So, you know, that's my journey to Glow, and alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair for sharing, Heather, and it's such a nice thing to have you here, you know, with us. And yeah, subhanAllah, I mean, I really love what you said in terms of our mothers making it look easy, you know, and personally, you know, I'm married, but I don't have children yet, but for years now, it's been such a passion for me to work with mothers, because just even just watching my own mother and being the eldest of, you know, we're 3 girls and there's literally 6 years between each of us. So my youngest sister is 12 years younger. So I'm kind of half mother for her in many ways. But, you know, my mother's always worked full time outside the home and inside the home because, you know, she needed to. But, you know, I saw, especially being the eldest firsthand, you know, many times how she'd always put herself first and sometimes not take care of herself and whatnot, or many times rather. And I know it's harder for women. You know, we're naturally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us to be like such great caregivers and whatnot, and sometimes we struggle. Even if we don't have children, sometimes we struggle taking care of ourselves before other people. And that only grows even more once you have kids, and that, you know, there's a beautiful thing within that for sure, but it's important. I know where my passion lies is helping women realize, you know, if they are really helping their family a lot, they could think of themselves almost as like a battery, you know, that their family kind of charges off of. Of course, the ultimate battery is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but nonetheless, mothers are such an important role, and it's important that they're taken care of and nurtured and things like that. So you know, I know so many women are going to be able to relate to you and be like, I know exactly what she's talking about. Of course, everyone has a different story, but, you know, I thank you for, you know, sharing that. You kind of touched upon the second question a little bit with your intro. You know, you mentioned some of the ways you benefited. Do you want to share anything else, specifically how you benefited, inshallah?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've benefited quite a bit from Glow in terms of, you know, one of my ailments is getting overwhelmed, and when I get overwhelmed, I get scatterbrained. So I know what I need to do, but having the structure of Glow really helps put things that I know I need to do into implementation, and kind of having someone else say, you know, this is what you need to do, even though I may know it in the back of my head, and not. I mean, I learned quite a bit, but like, drinking water. I mean, we all know that we need to do it, and we all know how important it is, but like, you need to do it for so many different reasons, and having the encouragement just to get these things into place, and the structure of having Glow really helps me implement things that, such as drinking water, continuing to remove toxins, making sure you eat full meals. So when I had my physical, not with my OB/GYN, but with my regular family care doctor in the midst of Glow, and I expressed my concerns of, you know, fatigue, and I'm getting sick a lot, and she said, you know, I don't think you're eating enough. And it was just like the Yasmin in the back of my head saying, you're not eating full meals. So she's like, I mean, she echoed exactly what you said. You need to eat a fat and a protein and a carb, along with, you know, leafy greens and things like that, to make sure. And I have noticed, wallahi, I was kind of like suffering from what I thought was like, you know, I don't know what I thought it was, but I was feeling like lightheaded towards the end of the day, and just exhausted even if I slept. And I noticed when I started paying attention to eating more just at mealtime, just even if it was like an extra serving of whatever it was, to you know, completing my meal, that's what I should say, it really has helped quite a bit. I'm no longer suffering from these, you know, dizzy spells at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that I was at the time, you know, fixing with a cup of coffee just so I can push through the rest of the day. And as you know, I've shared in the group, I recently lost my grandmother, which was very difficult for me, but I swear the du'a from, you know, even the people that you don't know really has helped me push through what has been a very difficult time for my family and myself, and that has been really great. And you know, so some of the things that in our lifestyle I think we lack, you know, I mean, it's just such a busy lifestyle that we all live, whether we're at home or we're working outside or whatever it is, we're constantly on the go, and we kind of like disconnect from the people around us, and we don't have that village, right? That, you know, everyone says it takes a village to raise a child. Not just raise a child, but just to be, you know, well-rounded I think we need that interaction, and the community of Glow has really been very wonderful for me to, even though it's virtual, it really has been very encouraging to help me implement and focus on myself. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for sharing all of that, and inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Your family continues to be in our du'a, and it's a very, very nice community, alhamdulillah, and I'm happy that it's going to stay alive, inshallah. And even though it is virtual, sometimes I know sometimes, I mean, I'm required to use technology so much for my work, especially these days. I'm the type of person too who I love, every once in a while I just need to disconnect from it. But we really do benefit from it a lot, alhamdulillah. And, with the continuation, I guess even with these interviews, which I'm sure many people are going to love to watch, inshallah, it's made me even think with the continuing classes and like the support and whatnot, maybe to add more, interaction and whatnot, maybe to have Q&A calls with people virtually so it feels more connected, like you said. We'll see. Some people are open to that. Some people are like, no, I like hiding and not having to be on camera, but we'll see, inshallah. But the goal is to continue the interaction, inshallah. And I think a lot of women do need to eat more balanced, like you mentioned. Even women who, and I know this wasn't necessarily not your goal, but I know other women have this goal of, let's say, losing weight. Even some women who are trying to lose weight, sometimes the answer is eating more or eating more complete.
Right. Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that. Could you share a word or two, any sort of encouragement, for anyone who's just part of the Glow community, in general?
So one of the best things that I have taken away from Glow is the concept of crowding out. I know a lot of times, like, we look at all the things that we need to do to get to who we want to be or where we want to be with our health or whatever it is, and it's a lot easier, like you said, a lot easier to start a good habit than it is to stop a bad. So, I've found that because I'm drinking more water, because I'm eating more nutritious foods, I am not drinking as much coffee as I was before. While I still do have my cup of coffee in the morning, I'm not drinking like a pot. Let's put it that way. And the other thing that I thought I've found very helpful is to, when you fall off, get back on track. In terms of, whatever it may be, but completing the program. And now that we know that it's here and we can go back, and whatever things that we may not have paid as much attention to, we can go back to them. But just because you have a bad day doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. And we can just pick up from where you left off and keep going, because the end goal is where we need to be. And once we reach that goal, then we need to continue with a new journey. So, inshallah khair.
Inshallah khair, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for sharing that, and I think that's such such a good point, especially in terms of being able to pick yourself up. And I know a lot of women, whether I work with them in group settings or especially one-on-one, a lot of times when we do fall off track, that usually is what leads to people just kind of sabotaging the efforts they already have, versus realizing we're going to have ups, we're going to have downs. It's really just about being graceful when we fall down and just getting back up quicker. So I'm really grateful that you shared that. Any final thoughts from you or anything you want to share?
I really just wanted to thank everyone that has participated in Glow. I've really enjoyed the interaction. I hope that we can keep the community alive. So this is one of the things that I've really put on the back burner, but this has really inspired me to at least create a plan to, I've really enjoyed sharing the knowledge that you have been able to give to us, and I'm really thinking about attending, well, probably online, but the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and so that I can help others, because I've been also, it's been a personal journey for me to help myself, but I really feel this calling to help others, move into this, better themselves spiritually, health, in terms of health and spirituality and emotion. So, inshallah khair.
Yeah,
So,
alhamdulillah, inshallah khair. And that actually helped me remind myself of something. The crowding out, I meant to say that and I forgot, because then you got into the falling off track and I wanted to mention that. But the crowding out is actually not something I created. That's an IAN, or Institute for Integrative Nutrition concept, crowding out. And that's, I learned many different things from them and have created a lot of my own things as well. But the crowding out is one that has stuck with me. But yeah, that's very exciting to hear. And we definitely need more women and definitely Muslims in that space. So I'm very excited to hear about that. And, when you do decide to do that, would love to help support you, inshallah. And yeah, we really do need more women helping others. And I know what you mean about, a calling. I was, on the phone today with someone who actually had 2 graduations today, because someone who I've been working with 6 months, second time around, alhamdulillah, she graduated today, the second time around. Different goals each time, but, with her doing that, we were kind of talking, about the same thing, about like a calling, and, it got me also thinking about how, I'm passionate about this for myself, and have had my own gains in terms of my health and things like that, but it's really like a whole other ballpark when you can help other women and really move forward, alhamdulillah.
absolutely. I think it helps you kind of hold yourself
for
accountable.
sure. Yeah, no, for sure. So, Jazakallah khair, Heather, you can feel free, if you'd like to stay connected while I go through the slides and stuff. You could stay with us. If you'd like to log off, that's totally fine. It's up to you.
I'm being summoned by my daughter asking me where I am.
I know, alhamdulillah, she sounds very cute. So, with that being said, is she here to say hi?
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. I was hoping a child would be. All right, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heather. If do the rest live now, you can connect through the link, or you'll have the recording, inshallah. So I hope that you all enjoyed those 2 interviews. Jazakallah khair once again to both Heba and to Heather. And I'm going to share with you the slides for Glow. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here are our graduation slides. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Ya Allah, increase us in Iman and allow this to be a means to get closer to you. Ameen, Ameen Ya Rabbil Alameen. So this is one of my favorite slides, because on here you will find every single person's name who signed up for Glow and filled out that form and set an initial intention telling me why they wanted to be part of Glow. So, many people went through the whole program, watched all of the videos, did all of the assignments, alhamdulillah. And, some are very close to completing that with just 1 or 2 videos to go. Some people, maybe were really only active in the beginning, and that's okay too, because the bottom line is that you will always have these resources, especially if you're a part of VIP or Pay What You Can, then you have all the resources there in one email to easily go through. But nonetheless, you always have those resources, and you are part of the Glow family, alhamdulillah. And yeah, I just wanted to really honor every single sister who is on this list, alhamdulillah, because you are very special and you took that leap. And, you want to better yourself. That is the most important thing. And for many of you, you've, increased awareness. And for some of you, you've also implemented things as well. So, please take a moment to look through these names and, send, some good energy to all your fellow sisters, inshallah. So for those of you who filled out the survey, I believe this was around week 5 that I sent out a survey to kind of check in with everyone and see how you were doing, see what benefits you've experienced. And for those of you who filled it out, we had some great things happening. A lot of you have increased your awareness, just like I mentioned before, subhanAllah. Many of you are drinking more water, according to this, alhamdulillah. And, Heba was mentioning it when she got interviewed, and water is so important. I mean, in today's world, there's so much confusion around health and wellness, and there's so much contradicting information out there. But the bottom line is, don't worry about any of that if you're not drinking enough water, because water is literally life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that everything comes from water, and our bodies are literally at least 70% water, if not more. Everyone's going to vary a little bit, but it's just so important. And, you want to be drinking water, inshallah. This one is great. Happier moods. Who doesn't want to be happier? Alhamdulillah. And, a big concept that I hope has gone home for you and Glow, and I know Heba had mentioned it, is the concept of, we're going to have ups and downs. We're not always going to be happy-go-lucky. And, I know a lot of women struggle because we have these ideals of what we want to be, and it's just not always going to be that way. But the key is that we want to be our optimal selves. We want to see the grace even when we are, falling off track, just like Heather mentioned, and getting right back on track, and really just realizing that this world is not perfect. And it's really exhausting to think that, everything is going to go exactly according to plan all the time. Though don't get me wrong, you should have high standards, and you should, be working hard. And this isn't an invitation to be slacker mode, but I'm just saying, you want to be balanced. So I'm happy to see that you are in happier moods, alhamdulillah. Eating more complete meals. Heather and I were just speaking about this, and it is so important. So many women need to be eating more. A classic example is, for whatever reason, there are many reasons, but for some reason, a lot of us have been marketed to the fact that we should be consuming lots of grains and sugars for breakfast. I mean, think cereal, think bagels, think juice, all these things. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy those things. You certainly can if you want to, in moderation and picking the healthiest forms of them. But really, you want to be getting in your proteins. You want to be getting in your healthy fats. Don't be afraid of fats. They are so important for breast health, thyroid health, hormonal health, energy, all these different things. So having more complete meals is so key, and I'm happy to see that many people are implementing that. And, even if you're not, don't get discouraged. You can now. Your Glow transformation or your Glow optimization, it's always there for you. This is not some, esoteric type of thing that, now we're graduated and it doesn't matter anymore, or you were doing it just to complete something. No, this is your life. You always have a chance to glow on the daily, inshallah. Many improved relationships. I'm not surprised, because when you're happier and you're healthier, your relationships are going to be improved. I mean, it is about health and nutrition and wellness and exercise, but it's also not. Those things are simply tools. They are simply ways to really, improve the bigger picture. And the biggest picture of all is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's certainly God, and that certainly is going to happen if we have improved relationships, And so I'm happy to hear that. We had someone say they have increased energy. I know many others, even if they didn't fill it out, also felt the same way. I know Heather was just talking to us about that. Alhamdulillah. We have increased support system. This is such a big one. Having a support system is so important. I know so many people felt the support from their fellow sisters, and I'm sure people also felt more support from their family members. If you were on the last Q&A call, it was Sarah from the UK who asked that excellent question about, how do you stay on track when you're with family or even distant family who think, why are you taking this health thing so seriously? Just eat the cake, just do this, just, You know, how do you do that, especially when people constantly are insisting? So if you did not listen to that Q&A call, please do. It is over an hour worth of really great stuff, and you know, you already have that in your inbox if you were in VIP or pay what you can. If you'd like access to that and you'd like to upgrade, please let me know, inshallah, and I'll get you that. But I shared a very funny story and you know, shared some tips on that. But nonetheless, having a support system is going to give you the confidence you need, and you know, confidence is going to help give you the support system you need. If we go to our next thing, which is increased confidence, alhamdulillah. So I'm very happy to see that too. Lots of people have improved their digestion, which, you know, all these things work together. I mean, nothing is a standalone. Everything works together. And like we know, our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that all health starts in the stomach, that digestion and gut health is so important. And I know we only touched upon it a little bit in you know, the courses, because I was trying to keep all the classes very, very focused. I did go more in depth on the Q&A, but you know, with the ongoing Glow monthly support community, and I'll talk more about it at the end, you know, we'll have more resources on that, inshallah, God willing, because it's a process. Things take time. Okay, next one, most important, deepened connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is so important, and it's one of the reasons why I do the work that I do, because I truly believe that, you know, like I was talking to Heather, women are awesome caregivers. Whether you're a mother, a sister, a friend, you know, an employee, a boss, whatever the case may be, women have been given, you know, a higher sense of emotion and a higher sense of empathy. And we, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, instilled that upon us. Don't get me wrong, men could be very emotional and great caretakers, and they should be both. And we have to empower the men in our life to, you know, fill the spaces that they need to fill. But it might not come as naturally to them. You know, they don't come out of the womb maybe just knowing that. And I'm not saying we know that as babies, but nonetheless, we don't, you know, have to learn it. You know, a lot of women have more compassion, just the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God created us. And with that being said, though, sometimes we have to realize that we have to take care of ourselves. And when we're actually nurtured, we're going to have a deeper connection with the one who created us, because this body, this mind, this soul that you exhibit, it's just a trust given to you by God. Same with mine, you know, and if we're not taking care of it, we're going to run into some problems. We're going to be pretty cranky. We're not going to be able to really move on. We're going to be tired. We're not going to have that energy or that ability to fuel that vehicle, which is meant to, you know, bring us closer to our Creator. And He told us that all cure exists here. We just have to do our due diligence. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, but do our due diligence, and you know, we'll be good to go. So I'm so happy to hear that. And, you know, I really try to infuse, it only feels natural to me, you know, and I'm a human with flaws for sure, but I really do always want to incorporate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, into all of my work. You know, even if there is someone who benefits from my work who doesn't believe in God or whatever the case may be, it's a part of my work. You know, and with any of my work, you know, it's very open. You know, you can take what works for you, but I think it's very important, and I believe the holistic whole picture can't exist without the Creator. So happy to hear that, and I'm so happy to hear those who said they either started exercising or engaged in more exercise. And I know I also asked you ladies, what do you still need support on? And I know some of you need help continuing exercising more. So I do have some resources for you. If you stay tuned, you will learn about that, inshallah. Going on to the next slide. So when we were doing the emotion survey, this was like week 2, you know, the surveys that I used, I asked you ladies to tell me what roles you play in your life. And, you know, I was so happy to see, you know, the mix of people we have here. We have a lot of eldest siblings. So check this out. If you are an eldest sibling, your caretaker ability that I was just talking about gets elevated like times 30, you know, and I could say this as an eldest sibling because, you know, you learn to take care of younger siblings and you kind of assume that role. You're also kind of the guinea pig child in a good way, and also the child that tends to get, you know, more attention and whatnot, but also has more responsibility. And so, you know, and that I understand that's not those are not the only people in the group, but whatnot, you know, we have quite a few people, you know, in that category. You know, we have some youngest siblings who are also, you know, very, very, you know, good caretakers. And I know this because my mother is the youngest of 7, and she is like the supreme caretaker of all time. But I know she falls short in taking care of herself. And, you know, I know that she's also consciously trying to do that now as well. But she's very selfless. And there probably wouldn't be a Wellness with Yasmin in existence if I didn't see, you know, all, you know, the hard work that she did and how much support mothers really need when they're supporting so many others. We have middle siblings, alhamdulillah, so that is also awesome. You know, I love my middle sister, and I guess you get a little bit of the best of both worlds with a little twist of middle child syndrome. But, you know, wherever you fall, and, you know, I asked you this because it's really important to realize where are you in the spectrum. Different parts of us, you know, like what child, what number birth we were, does make a difference in our personality and helps us understand ourselves. We have so many mothers in the group, which we already knew about. Alhamdulillah, and it's wonderful to see the mothers support each other. We have at least one grandmother, probably more, but at least one that filled out the survey, and that is, you know, awesome. Alhamdulillah. We have aunts in the group, which is also very cool. You know, we have a lot of wives in the group, you know, which is very cool too. Only one reported on the survey as being divorced, but I know, I'm pretty sure for a fact that there are more than that. Alhamdulillah, just probably didn't fill out this specific survey. But again, you know, different parts of our personality are going to really impact certain things about us, and they don't define us, but just knowing that part of our identity can help us see who we need to connect to, where we need support. So, you know, that is, you know, very, you know, very awesome to see all the diversity that we have here. You know, no one reported as being widowed, although that might not be the case. It could be someone who didn't fill it out. You know, we had someone who reported being engaged, which is very an exciting time for sure. We have students, we have full-time employees, part-time employees, full-time and part-time entrepreneurs. So, you know, this just kind of gives you a little bit of a visual of the ladies who filled this out, so you could kind of see who is amongst you. Although it doesn't represent everyone, but it's still a cool little diagram. Okay, on to the next slide. So we're going to talk a little bit about fears here and negative thoughts, although you guys know I like to keep it positive. If you remember, I asked you ladies in that survey, the same survey, the emotion survey, I asked you, what are your biggest fears? What are your most reoccurring negative thoughts? And this will show you exactly what people said. We had a lot, if we rank it out, the top one was not being good enough. I know this is something I've struggled with and still sometimes have thoughts about, but have, you know, have a system in place to not let that stop me from doing what I need to do. And, you know, inshallah, hope that those tools are being spread to you. And the next one is being abandoned. Definitely understand this one too from a personal perspective. The next one, not worthy of love. This is also very common and not shocking because, you know, if you just look at all the things that are marketed to women and whatnot and what we're worthy of. But I just want to remind you that you are absolutely worthy of love. You are absolutely not abandoned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you to be enough. Yeah, so the next one is not being normal. This is a very common one. We're marketed this idea of normal all the time. And, you know, I want you guys to really look at this, because if you see something that you had checked or that you could resonate with, I want you to realize other women feel the same way. And it's okay. There's no shame. Part of, you know, really getting through your fears is letting them be there. It's okay if they're there. We're going to have negative thoughts. I mean, newsflash, let me introduce you to Shaitan, someone who is literally out there. His number one goal is to, you know, make us not feel good about ourselves, make us feel far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, he wants us to feel abandoned because he wants us to forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there. Of course, he wants us to feel not worthy of love because then we're more, you know, likely to fall into his trap. So we're going to say hashtag no thanks to that. And we're also going to understand sometimes you're just going to feel that way. Sometimes you're just not going to feel good enough. Sometimes you're just going to feel uncomfortable in your own skin. That's okay. The goal is to find support, not take yourself too seriously, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and communicating it to someone who you love and just getting over it quicker. You know, I know some of these things might, in the past, when I really struggled with some of these things myself, would really paralyze me for, you know, a long time, hours or a couple days or whatnot. And we're talking like years ago, but nonetheless, still very important. You know, these things sometimes still come up for me, but nonetheless, I'm able to get through them quicker. And, you know, if you're not at that place, I'd like to teach you how, and just being part of the sisterhood is going to help you with that. I can promise you. But yeah, just so you could kind of see what other sisters said. Oh, so this one is what I love. This is just a few of them. When I asked you ladies to share your glow word, remember we were doing intentions every week and those were awesome too. But then I asked you to just sum it up in one word, and then you could use this word as your mantra for that week and really focus on it. And I did receive some great feedback. My word is all the way on the right hand upper side, the word ease. You know, we have some other words here. If you look right under mine, there's relax. That was Heba's, who got interviewed. If you look all the way to the left up top, perseverance. That was Heather's. You know, we have calm. We have joy. We have patience. We have alhamdulillah. We have focus. We have challenge. I'm going to try to guess who all of these are, and I might be wrong, but I'm like 100% sure I know. I believe focus came from glory. I believe challenge came from, I'm blanking out. I just had this. I'm going to skip that one real quick. I believe joy came from Amani. I believe alhamdulillah came from Nida. I want to say calm came from Bila. Patience came from Nasreen. Challenge. Who was the challenge one? Oh, man. I am blanking out. I am very sorry. I promise you are very special, even if I can't remember it. Don't, you know, I wasn't even trying to remember these. I didn't study them. I'm just going off memory, this from a while ago. But nonetheless, they're all very awesome. And, oh, no. Focus was not glory. Glory was challenge, and focus was Isabella. There we go. I am almost positive, and you ladies could check and let me know. And the UBU is a picture of Sarah from the UK, her beautiful son, reading an awesome book on being yourself, because ladies, the only thing you could do is be yourself, be your best you. It is amazing. It is enough. I promise you. Going on, we're going to go into the slides. So I've been hounding you ladies, not really hounding, but I've sent you quite a few reminders to add yourself, to make your own slide. And I think about 6 of you made your own slide, maybe 7. You know, that's okay if you didn't, but if you did, I'm going to go through your slides and honor you a bit. So here is Shahnaz Zaman from Melbourne, New Jersey. I see Shahnaz about once a week for almost 2 years now. She takes my fitness class at ICUC Masjid here in New Jersey every Wednesday, and she is an awesome sister. I know for a fact that she wasn't able to go through the whole GLOW program and all of the classes, but, you know, she still made this slide. She's staying connected. She has the resources to go through this on her own. And I thank you for filling this out. She has, you know, quite a few children. She works part-time. She's active. She's a wonderful sister. So she wrote here some bullet points for us to take home. She says we should be thankful. That's her goal. Be optimistic, and remember that consistency is goal. She says that she had the opportunity to learn about different health benefits of food, learn how to make delicious and healthy foods, and her goal is to stay healthy and always be optimistic. So Shahnaz, thank you so much, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make these things easy for you, and I hope you will continue to get even more connection with our GLOW community, because I know you have so much to offer. Next, we have Amani. She also takes my fitness class at ICUC. I promise there's no conspiracy here. This is not in a special order. They were simply the first ones to fill this out. And, you know, obviously, Amani is also from New Jersey. And, you know, you can see this beautiful picture here of her and her family. We have her twins, Lujain and Jumana. We have her son, Mustafa, and we have her husband, Hassan. And Amani has some wonderful bullet points, and check out her first one. She says consistency is key, which we're going to rewind to Shahnaz, who said consistency is goal. So they're very aligned there. That makes me happy. That makes me feel like some of the stuff I said really drilled home. So consistency is key. Less is more. Healthy is easy. Being thankful, alhamdulillah, which means all praise and gratitude is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God alone. And she says, smile, it's sunnah, with the adorable smiley face emoji there, the little picture. Amani shares an awesome quote from Dr. Seuss. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. I love this quote. I was actually just thinking about it like a week ago and just reflecting on it. And I'm so glad that Amani included it here, because it helps you really stay focused on those that matter and that are going to help you move forward. Others are important too, but you don't want to let, you want to keep your eyes on the bigger picture and not be derailed. And she, really cool with the little, the pentagon here. She has the hadith of taking 5 before 5. You take your youth before your old age. Take your health before your sickness. Take your wealth before your poverty. And take your free time before your preoccupation. And take your life, utilize your life before death. So thank you so much for including this. And last but not least, she shared one of my favorite quotes from Marie Forleo: clarity comes through action. It is an awesome quote, and it's so important, especially if you are perfectionist type or, anything like that. You are more likely to want to think your things through. But I have learned time and time again, clarity comes through action. Just do what you need to do. It doesn't matter if there's a mistake. To be totally honest, I am re-recording my voice over these slides because I messed up. I used PowerPoint instead of Google Slides, and it didn't switch through the slides. So I was talking and everything got recorded all nice and fancy, but I didn't actually have like the slides. Like I did have the slides, but they weren't showing up the way they were showing up on my screen on the recording. So I wanted to make sure you could see the respective slide when I was talking about it. So that's why I re-recorded this part. So it's okay, it's fine. I tested a lot of things, making sure interview people were going to be all good and stuff. That part just, didn't work out 100%, but it's okay. Clarity comes through action. Next we have, so thank you, Amani. Jazakallah khair. Let's just go back there. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your beautiful family, inshallah. Next, we have Nasreen Nedri from Norway. And here is a really nice picture. You can see everyone is so happy. It's making me happy, of Nasreen, her lovely husband, and her lovely mother, who I know is currently visiting Nasreen, which is awesome. Now, Nasreen wrote on here to, her goals are to be gentle with herself. She's reminding herself that asking for help is not a weakness. Oh my God, Nasreen, this is such a wonderful thing for you to share with our sisters. I know that it is hard as a woman to ask for help. It is. I know. I understand. We think we have to do a lot of things all by ourselves. We don't think other people can do things as well as we can. We think that we don't deserve the help, but I am telling you, if you want to be your most optimal, healthy self and actually have time to be really balanced, you need to learn how to ask for help. And we need to empower those around us, like our husbands, our children. We have to empower them to help us. We have to be gentle and empower them. So thank you so much for this, because asking for help, the art of delegation, is an art, really. And it's awesome. Nasreen also shared less is more. So check this out. Amani also had less is more. So did Nasreen. I did not plan it like this. Wallahi, I did not. And Nasreen and Amani were actually glow partners, by the way. I don't know if they made that connection, but they were. So they have a little bit of the connection with the less is more. And Nasreen also mentioned happiness is a choice. And she said, my goal is to make the best choice for my mind, body, and soul every day. And Nasreen, thank you so much for filling this out. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make that easy for you and allow you to achieve it. And thank you so much. And next we have Nida from Toronto, Canada. Nida is the beautiful sister who made that beautiful glow video. If you missed it, she posted it in our group, and she posted it on my personal Facebook page, and I will share it with you ladies as well. But basically, she, as a token of her appreciation, she made a video with all the major concepts that I covered in Glow. So thank you so much, Nida. It is such a good way to really get all the concepts very quickly, and I will share that once more. Nida says that this course was an answer to her prayers, like literally. She says she learned a lot of valuable information and practical steps from Glow. She says, I have such big plans of things I want to do, but I keep getting frustrated with the lack of energy and health. I now know some things that I can do to help. I will stay connected to our community, inshallah, and continue to be part of this so you can continue to, thrive. She says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she shared a quote from our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not sent down any disease, but he also sends down the cure for it. Nida, we are on the same page. I just shared that 4 slides ago. So thank you so much. And she declares here, she's taken a public declaration, I am taking my health seriously for the first time ever, and I actually have a direction to take. This makes me so happy, Nida. Remember that everything is simply a tool. Glow is a tool that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to help you with this, and I am so excited to be part of your journey. And please stay connected with us, Nida. We need a beautiful, awesome sister like you to stay connected with us. Jazakallah khair, Nida, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make everything easy for you and allow you to thrive. Next, we have Heba from Melbourne, Australia. And in this beautiful picture, we have Heba herself, the wonderful Heba. We have, her wonderful, cute little daughter, Zaina, who she likes to call her little warrior princess. And we have her husband, Hazim, who I know is traveling a little bit during Glow, but I know is back with the family, alhamdulillah. And, Heba shares some awesome things. You got to meet her in the interview. And we had some laughs. She is not a professional comedian, in case you missed that. She mentions here focusing on hydration and sleep were her biggest accomplishments during Glow. That is really awesome. Thank you so much for mentioning that and reiterating it, Heba. She says she loves the recipe book. Alhamdulillah, that is really awesome. And there's a slide later on where I talk a little bit about the recipe book, and I share something very, 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 very important that you need to listen to if you are using that recipe book. It's a very important update. Please stick around and listen to it. And she thanks me here, so you're welcome, Heba. All good comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And her favorite quote from the course, obviously I didn't make up this quote, but nonetheless I used it a lot in this course, is I am right where I need to be. I love it, Heba. This is a big concept for me too, and I'm so glad that you've internalized it. Her favorite idea was aiming for optimal, but knowing that we are on a continuum towards it. Simply do your best and seek to improve. It's all about progress, not perfection. I love that you really appreciated this, Heba. Creating that continuum for Wellness with Yasmin has been a very big thing, and I'm going to have more resources on it, and inshallah you'll stay connected to us. She mentions her future goals, or in the works, mastering her thoughts and emotions, for my thoughts become my beliefs and my beliefs become my action/habits. I love Hiba's, I could just feel her natural desire for self-improvement. And as someone who is a self-improvement junkie, that is awesome. The good kind of junkie. Anyway, yeah, that's very important. And I know in her interview, she mentioned how much she really, wants to focus on emotions, and she's already helping women through essential oils. Please, if you need any information about that, check her stuff out. But, we're going to work, I promise you, Heba, especially in the Glow from the Inside Out monthly community support, we are going to have so much information on emotions. For me personally, a lot of my own really big accomplishments have been through understanding my emotions and really learning how to manage them and ending process. So it's so important. I believe emotions are at the core of health for women. So you're totally right there, and we'll have so many resources. And as I mentioned before, she shares here, this is her beautiful family for whom she is always trying to be better for. Hazim, her husband, and Zaina, her little warrior princess. And she says, alhamdulillah for every blessing. If you missed it before, alhamdulillah means all praise and gratitude is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to thank Noman Ali Khan for the awesome definition of that word, because it is hard to clearly define a lot of Arabic words because they are just so precious, and there's not enough English words to define them. But that's one of the best ways I've ever seen it explained. And thank you, Heba, for filling this out, for being interviewed, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all these things easy for you and allow you to thrive continuously. Our last slide that was filled out is from Heather, who was also interviewed and was such a glowing part of this graduation class. Jazakallah khair, Heather, once again. And she's also from New Jersey. And Heather shares here, every day is a new beginning and our bodies are an amana. So I love how all of us are just so aligned. It just gives me my heart is smiling and I feel all fuzzy and stuff, because I was mentioning before earlier how our bodies are an amana. I love too how Heather mentions every day is a new beginning, because this really helps people realize that it's just about being better. It's just about taking every day as it is and making the most out of it. And Heather spoke so much about this in her interview, which I'm sure you heard. If you didn't, go back and listen to it again. It's worth listening to numerous times. And she says one of the greatest things she learned in Glow was the practice of crowding out. As I shared in Heather's interview, that concept has been with me for years now. I first learned the concept of crowding out from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I personally received my, education and board certification for holistic health. And that is their own concept, and it's a wonderful concept. It really is. And I'm so glad to hear that Heather, really is loving that one. She says, secondly, I have really begun to listen to my body again. And check it out, Heather, I'm using you as an example. Ladies who say you have excuses, I get it. I mean, Heather has little kids too. And, she's doing a bunch of things too. If she can begin to listen to her body again, so can you. Motherhood is not an excuse. It certainly is a huge responsibility, as Heather was telling us, a huge responsibility. But realize that your motherhood will only be elevated by you taking care of yourself. You would never let your child go starving. So don't let yourself, go unnourished. Next, Heather says her goal is to take small steps and be consistent if she falls off track. And if she falls off track, to get back on track, inshallah, God willing. I love it. I love all of it. Thank you, Heather, for being on the interview with us. Thank you for, being such a beacon of light for us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of this awesome for you. And I look forward to you being part of our continuous community. I know she's itching for that because she keeps sending me she's always likes everything, and I love her activity, and I love her enthusiasm. It's a very, very contagious in a good way, alhamdulillah. So jazakallah khair, Heather. Next, okay, so those of you who, when you guys sent me your surveys where I asked you for all of your feedback, I asked you, what could be improved. Some of you mentioned how you would love to have one home for all of the Glow materials. So what I did is almost a week ago now, several days ago, I sent an email to anyone who is part of VIP or Pay What You Can. And I sent you all of the Glow resources in one email. So it's very easy to reference. I created, you could see the second document there, the Glow video class and Q&A library. I put all of the videos, the Q&A class videos, the Q&A resources, all the links and follow-up information all in one place so you have access to it. So you already received this if you're part of VIP or Pay What You Can. If you want this, you can still upgrade to Pay What You Get. You pay what you can. Again, there is no minimum on that, so it's very easy to upgrade to. Just send me an email or comment to let me know if you want access to this, inshallah. This is really important. So the Glow from the Inside Out cookbook, everyone received a digital copy of this, alhamdulillah. Now, here's the thing. I realized a mistake in this book. You probably won't even find this mistake. Some people will not even think it's a mistake. But I am a big, I like to think a lot. So in the welcome letter, one of the words I use to describe you ladies is the word sacred. When I initially had this intention of using this word, I used the word sacred because I understood that word to mean something that is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is, you know, for his sake. Now, I don't know why, but when I was rereading the cookbook, I figured I wanted to, and I had actually looked up the word sacred before I used it, but nonetheless, I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted to look it up again and do a little bit of research. And I found that in some religions and some schools of thoughts, sometimes the word sacred is used to describe one or something that is worthy of worship. Although this is not the mainstream definition and many do not see it that way and might not think that deeply into it, I'm sorry, but I don't want to use that word. I don't want to go anywhere near anything that might, you know, infringe upon what's really important, our tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I replaced the word sacred with the word cherished. So I already sent out an updated version to those who are on VIP and pay what you can. I will be updating the online version. I only sent out one print copy that had the word sacred. For that person, I will be sending out a complimentary copy of the word with the new word cherished. And I will send out an email, but please delete the email of the first one. Whatever you do, I want you to use the new one. You might not see it as important as I do, but I believe it is. So please respect that. And, you know, I will be sending that your way. And if you want a hard copy of the book, please feel free to order it. It's on my website. You know, you get a glossy paperback book printed on paper from, you know, responsibly managed forests. All of the sources are recycled. They're acid free. And, you know, it's just nice. I'm a digital person. My husband's got me on digital stuff for years now, but some stuff I just feel is special. And I feel like it would be fun to have the actual cookbook in your home. It's only $23.95 plus shipping. I believe shipping is like $6. Regardless of where you live in the world, shipping is one price. So, yeah. And then most exciting is I've been talking to you ladies. I've been asking you what kind of support you want, and lots of people want this community to stay alive. I will be keeping our Facebook group active and alive, alhamdulillah. And, you know, I will be, you know, sporadically, you know, adding new stuff there. But there will be a chance to sign up to be a subscriber to the monthly Glow community, where you're going to receive, you know, content within that community. It's the same focus. Glow from the inside out means nourishment for the female soul, mind, and body, which as females, we're just, you know, we're unique. We need unique things. And, you know, I'm going to share a short story that, you know, a client sent me an email about. She was telling me how she's just updating me on something and wanted to share a story about how she's realizing men and women are different continuously. And it was like 2 mornings ago, her husband had made eggs for breakfast, and she was thankful that he made her eggs, but she didn't feel like having eggs for whatever the reason. You know, sometimes you don't feel like having certain things. And so she just said, I don't feel like having this. And then he was a little confused. He's like, what do you mean you don't feel like having it? It's not about your feelings. And then she said, of course it's about your feelings. And then he said something along the lines of, you know, all we have to do is think. We need breakfast for fuel, that sort of thing. And she just realized that, you know, he had been trained this certain way to not really tap into his feelings or whatnot. And he's still, you know, he has many feelings for sure. I know this for a fact because I've worked with this client intimately. But nonetheless, it just shows we are different. We have different desires. We are very emotionally charged, and that is a good thing. Be proud of your emotions. So all of these resources are catering towards the female soul, mind, and body. Every month, you will get a monthly live 1.5-hour spotlight class. The topic will be the topics you see below. It'll include a Q&A session. You'll get a recording. You know, you'll get a monthly 7-minute guided power workout, which will include a yoga move, a breath move, a strength training move. It's going to make it super easy to have no excuses to do exercise. And if you want something more, you can do that circuit numerous times. You'll get a new one every single month. And the video quality is going to be amazing, I hope, because I learned a lot from recording that first video of exercise. I've taught so many exercise classes, but that was the first time I really recorded one like that. So I'm going to improve it tremendously. And you'll get a monthly mantra. Our topics, and you can see below, the different topics are ranging from anxiety to anger to self-esteem to confidence to back, hip, joint health, oral, stomach health, breast and lymph health, marriage, love, intimacy, sleep, relaxation, restoration, hormones, cravings, brain and mind health. So some really good stuff. It's only $19 a month. Your first month is free, so you have no excuses, and you can cancel anytime, although I'd love for you to stay connected, inshallah. And it starts on April 14th, inshallah. And I believe I will be opening up registration for that this upcoming Tuesday. So please stay on the lookout for that. Hold on one second. I'm back on the screen now. No more, I'm not sharing my screen anymore, but I just want to say Jazakallah khair. It's been wonderful teaching Glow. You know, I've done a couple different online courses. You know, this has become, I think, my favorite one. I really love my Ramadan course too. I've been doing, I think this year will be the 3rd year, I want to say, that I'll be running my Ramadan Mind, Body, Soul retreat, and that keeps getting better every year too, and there'll be information on that soon. But this was the first time that Glow, you know, had happened. I've run a couple other things like the 7-day healthy living challenge, the 3-day winter cleanse using foods to cleanse. What else? I know there's another one. You know, I've done an emotional eating class, you know, many different things, but I'm very excited to add, you know, the Success Club podcast, but I'm very excited to add this, you know, to our community. And I do hope, you know, you really have no excuse because, you know, the first month is free. So worst comes to worst, you try that out and you find out you don't like it, which inshallah won't be the case. But, you know, that way you have a peace of mind there and you don't have to think too hard about when to subscribe and whatnot because, you know, the first month is free. And, you know, it'll be continuously interactive. I'm very excited about that, to stay connected to you all. And with that being said, we are done with the graduation class. I want to thank, you know, the ladies who are here live, and I want to thank Reem Uthman as well. She couldn't make it, but, you know, she was here on the test run yesterday, alhamdulillah, and I do want to thank her. And, you know, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. And I'm going to end with, you know, reminding you that all good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any shortcomings are from myself. Please do forgive me. And thank you so much. And, you know, keep looking out for the emails that I send you with updates. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.